There you go now.
I think I'm recording.
Oh, I see.
Get your first 6 months of our Platinum plan for only $833 per month, plus fees and taxes. Just call 844-711-8800 to take advantage of this amazing offer.
Get the SiriusXM app and listen on your phone when you get out of the car. Anywhere you take your phone, you can take Howard Stern, NFL Radio, and commercial-free music channels from nearly every genre. You never have to miss your favorite SiriusXM programs or commercial-free music. Find the SiriusXM app in the App Store or call 844-711-8800 or visit SiriusXM.com/app to find out more.
Netflix is a Joke Radio is on SiriusXM. Wall-to-wall comedy clips from Netflix's exclusive and unparalleled library of top comedy specials. Plus, comedians Tom Papa and Fortune Feimster hang out with all their comedian friends on What a Joke.
What a Joke is the name of the show?
Weekdays at 10 a.m. East.
I like the name, yeah. What a Joke.
And Are You Still Listening? A monthly Netflix stand-up showcase hosted by Taylor Tomlinson. Tuesdays at 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. East. Netflix is a Joke Radio. Hear Netflix is a Joke Radio. Activate your radio by calling 844-711-8800.
Or go to SiriusXM.com/go to sign up quickly.
Did you know SiriusXM has over 100 extra channels on the SXM app, filled with ad-free music made for everything you do? Mashup channels, workout channels, channels for parties, or just chilling out and more. Expertly curated for any mood, occasion, or activity. Extra channels let you discover new music and enjoy even more variety from every decade and music style you love. Plus, you can watch some of your favorite SiriusXM shows with SiriusXM Video. And you can do it all along with listening in your car as part of our music and entertainment plan. Right now, we're offering SiriusXM subscription plans for as low as $6 a month, plus fees and taxes. Call 844-711-8800 to find out more about these amazing offers.
SiriusXM Comedy, bringing you new albums from the best comedians before anyone else. This month, hear Jim Gaffigan's Dark Veil.
You ever see your dad on vacation? They're so confused. Wait, is this my vacation?
SiriusXM is your home for exclusive comedy.
But I'm not having any fun.
Jim Gaffigan's Dark Veil.
What about a boat?
Only on the SiriusXM Comedy Channel and anytime on the SXM app.
I could just leave him here.
Included with all trials and popular plans.
When you're a SiriusXM subscriber, you've got access to commercial-free music, channels from almost every genre, and channels created in conjunction with the biggest names in music. Eminem's Shade 45, Pearl Jam Radio, Bruce Springsteen's E Street Radio, and more. Visit www.SiriusXM.com/go to sign up online quickly or call 844-711-8800 now. Activate your radio and start listening now.
Ride to the biggest hip-hop hits in the game. Channel 44. Then go even deeper with exclusive channels in the SXM app. Hear who's next on Hip Hop Nation Discovery. Or hit the gym with Hip Hop Nation Workout. Jumpin', and boys up to something. For the latest hip hop, start with Channel 44. Then explore more in the SXM app. To hear this channel, activate your radio now. Call 844-711-8800 or head to SiriusXM.com/go to sign up quickly.
Witness hip-hop history at the Force Tour Live.
Frequencies of real creative energy, headlined by me, LL Cool J.
Featuring a list of hip-hop legends.
Salt Pepper, Queen Latifah, Rick Ross, and more.
We've got your tickets and a chance to meet LL. Pick your city.
Detroit, Atlanta, Las Vegas, Texas, Boston, and more.
To enter and for rules, go to SiriusXM.com/Force Tour by August 14th. No purchase necessary. No transportation included.
Get the SiriusXM app and listen on your phone when you get out of the car. Anywhere you take your phone, you can take Howard Stern, NFL Radio, and commercial-free music channels from nearly every genre. You never have to miss your favorite SiriusXM programs or commercial-free music. Find the SiriusXM app in the App Store or call 844-711-8800 or visit SiriusXM.com/app to find out more.
They're the founding fathers of thunderous, hard and heavy classic rock, Black Sabbath and Ozzy Osbourne.
Oh, Lord, yeah.
Welcome to Ozzy's Boneyard. Hear Ozzy-approved, hard and heavy classic rock on his own channel.
Never bring you.
Ozzy's Boneyard. To hear Ozzy's Boneyard, activate your radio now. Call 844-711-8800 or go to SiriusXM.com.
You deserve the best. With the SiriusXM Platinum VIP plan, you can unlock the ultimate listening experience in up to 2 cars and stream anywhere with 2 app logins. Enjoy our greatest content, opportunities for live VIP experiences, and prioritized customer care. Plus, get access to over 5,000 audio and video concert recordings through nugs.net. Call 844-711-8800 and become a VIP. Offer details apply. Not available in Canada.
The most informed player in your league by listening to the experts on Fantasy Sports Radio, Channel 87.
Your advice propelled me to the championship.
We're analyzing the latest news from NFL training camps.
It's all here for Jamar Chase to have his greatest season ever.
And helping you prepare for your draft whenever you want. Just search Fantasy Drafts on the SXM app. It's your audio draft kit with player rankings, position breakdowns, and expert drafts all in one place.
Your hometown podcast on the SXM app is easy. Just click the favorite star and listen all season long. Showtime! MLB Network Radio is your home plate for baseball conversation and expert analysis. To listen to MLB Network Radio, activate your radio now. Call 844-711-8800.
Rondo Deportes, bonjour, vidi vidi vici, let's get ready to rumble! Welcome to the show. My name is Jonathan of Big C Sports. This is Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to me and people who love the universe, and that would include you. What a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day in the neighborhood. Won't you be my neighbor? Shut up! It's 1 o'clock in the morning. Man, I thought it was 1 o'clock in the afternoon, but that's what happens when you can't tell time. But I know what time it is. Today is a beautiful August the 8th, 2023. Today's show is sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers. Home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade. The standard of the world. When you go by and test drive yours, tell them Charger says sit you where the good Lord split you. It's down the fleet of Cadillac cars all across the universe. What a great day. Kind of smoky day in Dimdale Hills, California. We're having great weather. It's about 89 degrees here in Dimdale Hills, but there is some smoke, and where there's smoke, there's fire. Hopefully they put the fire out, if that makes sense to you. You can follow Big C Sports Podcast on 27 podcast applications all across the universe. That's more than any podcaster out there. You can Google any podcast, and no one has more than 27 platforms. And there's 2 more that want to come on. We will see what happens by the time NFL kicks off. You can follow on Google, Alexa, Spotify, Speaker Podcast, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio Podcast, Castbox Podcast, the Deezer Podcast, Podcast Addict. You ever been an addict for something? It's not good to be an addict unless it's a podcast addict. Pod Chaser. You can find us on GeoSavan out of London, England, as well as India and Africa. Even want to give a shout out to Ghana. Ghana's been following Big C Sports Podcast. Really do appreciate that on the mother continent. Podtail, YouTube, Hubhopper, Stitcher Podcast, Radio Line, Repod Podcast, Luminary Podcast, Listen Notes, Podcast Wise, Podbay, Verbal Podcast, Podcast Podyssey, Podcast Republic, and I'm telling you, there's one called Good Pods. But the one that used to scare me until I learned how to turn it off. I have a clue on how to turn things off. It's called allfeeds.ai. The robots are taking over. Give the robots some praise because they're getting smart. They're not like your average dog. When you feed a dog, it says woof, 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 like Scooby-Doo. Woof, woof, woof. And then when he's ready to go to sleep, he goes to sleep. And when it's time to get up and use the bathroom, he'll go outside. And when it's time to eat again, he'll go woof, woof, woof. He starts staring at you with those pretty old puppy dog eyes. You know, robots are a little bit different. Robots are like the Exorcist. They say, you can't leave. You can't leave. Be careful with the robots because when they tell you you can't leave, they know what they're talking about. They can turn off the power. But there's a rumor, a good old boy by the name of Teddy Pendergrass, he sang back in the day. He said, turn off the lights and light a candle. You see, I'm in a romantic mood, yeah. He said, turn off the lights and come to me. You see, there's something I want to do to you, baby. says turn it off, you gotta turn it off. That's why I have Teddy Pendergrass always on call, if that makes sense to you. You can also follow BXC Sports Podcast, streaming OTT on Ford TV podcast applications all across the universe. Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, and a lot of smart TVs all over the universe. But you better have some Teddy Pendergrass in case the TV don't want to turn off. Teddy can turn it off, if that makes sense to you. Rumor has it more babies have been born to Teddy Pendergrass than any musical singer in the history of the universe. When he said, turn them off, that's when people got turned on. Give me some praise. If you ever been turned on, you know Teddy Pendergrass has been in the room. I want to say thank you to our veterans crisis hotline. They really are experienced helping veterans and their loved ones get help. You know, but they're going through issues. 800-273-8255. That's 800-273-8255. Or you can text 838-255. That's 838-255. If you're online, simply go to veteranscrisisline.net. That's veteranscrisisline.net, and give them some praise, because we all need somebody to lean on. I gotta tell you, speaking of somebody to lean on, now I'm not embarrassed to say it, and what I'm gonna say, it might be a little bit embarrassing, but I don't think it's embarrassing, because last night I was watching one of my favorite TV shows. It was called The Bachelor. Don't laugh. I wasn't the only guy watching it. And I saw this beautiful Nubian woman, and she kept telling every guy that she's in love with him. And she said, I love you. And she lay down in bed with one guy and said, well, this didn't work out too well. I don't know what happened. And so the third guy, she told him, I love you. And then they went to the bedroom. And then I don't know what worked out, but something didn't happen. And then the third guy, she said, I love you. I've never loved you more like this. Whatever it was. She loved three guys in the matter of a 1-hour TV show. And I wonder if life is really like that. Can you, ladies, only ladies know, can you love three guys in the middle of a 30-minute TV show or 1 hour? I don't know. But I was thinking, wait a minute. These guys have to be a little bit brighter than the average Joe. I said, if these guys are watching the show, don't they know she's telling three guys, including him, that she loves all of them? Or maybe it's just me. But if you love three guys at the same time, I don't know if you can marry all of them, but that's the way love goes. The great Janet Jackson told, I just thought it was funny. She told three different guys that she loved all of them, and that's the way love goes. All spread love war. I want to say thank you to Xfinity Comcast TV and Comcast Spotlight Effect TV for presenting Big C Sports to the universe. Just like in Genesis 1:3, where God said, reparations now, reparations forever. We got to get our reparations. Tonight we got the reparations lottery style. Got the Mega Million is $1.5 billion. Won by Big C Sports. I know I won it because my backside keeps itching. And I know it shouldn't be itching because I took a shower last week. So of course it's not the backside. It must be the lotto. Give the lotto some praise. Give all praise. Man, everybody's saying what they're gonna do if they win $1.5 billion. I'm gonna let all the churches know. I'm gonna give some away to the church. Give me some praise for that. You gotta give the church some of that $1.5 billion. You know they'll be showing up saying you don't want to rob God, obviously. And then you gotta give things to your family. Of course, you want to help family members. Even people that you didn't know were family, they'll show up too. It'd be like a wedding crasher. They'll show up. I haven't seen you in 35 years. I've been trying to reach you. All friend level war. At the same time, it's just being healthy and wealthy is why it was good enough. Give that a good enough too, because not everybody's going to win. If there's $1.5 billion, that means that $3 billion in tickets have been purchased. They say half of that money is up for grabs. The other half goes to help the schools. That means every school has a good school book. There are no used school books because a lotto takes half of that money and they give it away. If that makes sense to you, give it some praise, and hopefully tonight there'll be a lot of good things that people can talk about. I love paying homage to my beautiful family legacy, and I want to thank the gentleman that I had on the show yesterday. It was Dwayne Wade Sr., the father of NBA basketball, future Hall of Famer Dwayne Wade, and then also you had Marcellus Brown, the father of the great Jaylen Brown for the Boston Celtics. Had them on yesterday. Talking about fathers, I had such a great moment, and then I also had some feedback from another good friend of mine, producer, and we were talking about how you, when you were growing up, at least in the black families, you get together at the family reunion, and then all the women say, get your butt out of the kitchen. In fact, they say, let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. Get out of the kitchen. So when women in the kitchen, most men know, you get out of the kitchen, let the ladies do their thing, and then mama don't even need this measuring cup. She used her hand. She used her hand to measure the spices. And then when grandpa said, "Oh, honey, you put your foot in these collard greens," she said, "Yeah, baby, I sure did." She didn't know that my brothers, the night before when she was doing the collard greens, we were trying to sneak in the kitchen to get some more cookies. And grandma had her foot. She was stepping in the pot of collard greens. You know, before they cook, you got to wash them out. She was putting her toes in the collard greens. Now, my grandma, she has some pretty toes, too. But I wonder when they say, you put your foot in it. That's a real thing. Put your foot in it. Some real love. If that, give it some praise. Give me praise if you put your foot in anything. I really do appreciate that. I want to talk about something that I have mentioned just yesterday, and coming off the show with Marcellus Brown, and he's just doing a lot of things. They're doing some things with the NBA. I appreciate them coming on Big City Sports Podcast. But I also, as a former fighter, his father has actually sparred with Muhammad Ali. And that's why I say, with all you got to use, how can you lose? You float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, the great Drew Danny Brown. But I want to get back into what I talked about with Francis Ngannou. He has a fight versus Tyson Fury. And that fight is scheduled for, I think, October 29th of 2023. So Francis Ngannou, he holds a strong belief in his ability to stun the world. I shook up the world! And then, by beating Tyson Fury in his inaugural professional, think about it. If he has his first fight, this is like Conor McGregor and Floyd Money Mayweather. I remember having a conversation with Uriah Faber after the Conor McGregor Floyd Money Mayweather fight, and obviously McGregor was not a boxer; he was an MMA guy. And Floyd Money Mayweather never lost a fight, 50-0. So he's not an MMA guy; he's a boxer. So Francis Ngannou is a martial arts expert. He has so many different skills. And then Tyson Fury is a straight boxer. So when it comes to this fight, it's going to be boxing rules. I mean, you can't kick a guy the way some people like to get kicked. Some people like getting kicked. I've seen it in the lunch line trying to crowd somebody. Some people like being kicked, if that makes sense to you. But when I think about the betting world, because if they were to fight, and a fight where everything goes, Francis Ngannou would destroy Tyson Fury. And I believe that because he can use all of his skills. But this is what Lee Corso said, not so fast, my friend. Lee Corso said, in this fight, you got just boxing rules. And so Tyson Fury, based on boxing rules, he has the advantage because he's been a boxer. He's never been an MMA guy. And of course, he has a history where he had to pull himself up by his bootstraps, and he did that. But former UFC champion Francis Ngannou is set to step into the boxing ring for the first time October 29th against Tyson Fury. It's going to be in Saudi Arabia, of all places. Now, when you think about it, Ngannou, he's standing for hope after becoming the third African-born UFC champion. And you want to give that some praise. The 9-series DNA. And obviously, Israel Adesanya has been part of that UFC champion, and Cameron Usman. Usman, I thought at one time was the best fighter in the world for his weight class, but I'm telling you, Ngannou, he's a real deal. Looks like an NFL defensive end, but the bout will adhere to traditional boxing regulations and will be officially recorded on both fighters' their career records. Now, when Conor McGregor fought Floyd Money Mayweather, that did not count against Conor McGregor's losses. And it did not count for Floyd Money Mayweather's wins. It was an exhibition, and rumor has it made $300 million, give or take $100 million, if that makes sense to you. But when I think about this fight, will this fight have the same build-up? Probably not. But it should. The reason is, boxing In MMA, they have a lot of boxing involved in it. But with MMA, you can kick, you can choke. You can't do that in boxing. So just for points, Fury already has more points than Ngannou because he can't use his lower extremities. He can't put him in a rear-legged choke. He can't elbow him upside the head. He can't do that. It's only boxing gloves. And then you can grab, like Ali, the rope it up, you can grab somebody and hold them. But going into the fight, I'm looking at how Las Vegas is going to swing this thing. Because if it's just straight up boxing, you got a guy in Francis Ngannou who cannot use 50% of what he's done to be a champion. But you have Tyson Fury who can use 100% of what he's done to be a champion. Does that make sense to you? So that's why, just like with McGregor and Floyd Money Mayweather, McGregor never really had a chance because he could not use 50% of what made him great, which is his legs. As a straight boxer, he had no chance. As a straight boxer, he had a hard time even putting his hands on Floyd Money Mayweather. But what will this fight be like? Because as a boxer, Tyson Fury, he doesn't have the ability to dodge a punch the way Floyd Money Mayweather had the ability to dodge a punch. So Francis Ngannou, he's such a hard hitter, and in my opinion, he has a chance to win this fight. Because Fury can't get out of the way Floyd Money Mayweather could get out of the way when he fought McGregor. And I would love to get some UFC guys' thoughts on it. Of course, the UFC guys are going to say, hey, they're UFC, they're going to win. And the boxing guys are going to say they're boxing guys, the boxing guy's going to win. But the reason I think Floyd Money Mayweather beat Conor McGregor is, again, McGregor could only use 50% of what he used to become a champion. Just by agreeing to the fight, he was already out of being able to get into the ring and do what he wanted to do. He was already at a disadvantage. That disadvantage, in my opinion, is not going to be there for Ngannou. Because Floyd Money Mayweather has defensive skills that Tyson Fury does not have. He can't get out of the way of a punch. When Deontay Wilder fought him, Deontay only had one hand, really. He was throwing a haymaker, either knock you out or not. But Ngannou's a boxer more like Ali. He can go left, right. He can do the rope-a-dope. He can put you in his grips and hold you. But he's also a good defensive posture. Not as good as Floyd Money Mayweather, but as a boxer, overall boxer, Francis Ngannou is more of a boxer than Conor McGregor was. And people can see that. And I think for the size alone, that Francis Ngannou has a good chance of beating Tyson Fury because Fury cannot dodge a punch the way Floyd Money Mayweather could. But I know the whole boxing world, and I'm just one opinion, but I'm usually pretty accurate with this stuff. Unless Vin Rames shows up and said, this is Vin Rames and your butt goes down in the 5th round. Say that, flip. Unless Vin Rames from Pulp Fiction shows up and says, boxing is full with a lot of unrealistic muddly buckers who think their butt gets better with time like fine wine, but it don't. He said, your butt goes down in the 5th round. Say that, flip. He told that to Bruce Willis. I don't think Vin Rames is going to be, I don't think he's going to be at this fight. Just looking at these two men, Francis Ngannou is in incredible shape. Tyson Fury is not in incredible shape. Francis Ngannou can go left and right combination. Wilder only had a big right hand. He couldn't really throw a left hand. And even with that, I think, just my opinion, because I have also on video, when Wilder put Fury on the ground, there was a 12 count. Not a 10-second count. That's my opinion. But that's boxing. Your butt goes down in the 5th round. When Tyson lost to Buster Douglas about 30-something years ago, Tyson knocked down Buster Douglas, and then the referee pushed Mike Tyson to the corner, and Buster Douglas had like an extra 2 seconds to get up off the canvas. Had that been a regulated fight, maybe in the United States, then Tyson would not have lost to Buster Douglas. That's my opinion. Because when they start counting, if a man's on the ground, down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. The late, great Howard Cosell. The count starts when you hit the canvas, not after. They start the count when you hit the canvas, not after they push the fighter that knocked you down to the corner and then start the count. If you watch that Buster Douglas fight with Mike Tyson, Buster Douglas got knocked down. He was on the ground for about 12 seconds on the canvas. But I thought Mike Tyson got robbed in that fight for whatever reason, and I believe my clock was accurate. When I counted, the good old boy was down about 12 seconds. But they said he beat the count. That's my opinion. In this fight, Fury does not have the defensive skills of Floyd Money Mayweather unless Vin Rhames shows up. That's my opinion. So that's why I think Ngannou, he's looking forward to the fight. He's obviously in great shape. And he says, I think just talking about his power is going to be a huge mistake. Ngannou, he told a sports company that we're going to shock the world and show the skill set. And that's why I'm saying that Francis Ngannou would knock out Tyson Fury, because if Deontay Wilder can do it with only a right-hand punch, Ngannou, he punches just as hard as Wilder, in my opinion. But he's also more agile on his feet. Deontay Wilder was pretty much a sitting target. And so was Fury. Two big men going at it. Ngannou, he's a different fighter, if that makes sense to you. And he has a boxing skill set that's a lot like Floyd Money Mayweather. And he can dodge a punch, but he's also good with his feet. And again, he said he's not going to take it lightly. We know that he's taking it very seriously. It's a big fight for him, the biggest fight of his career, as every fight should be, but this is one of the most important ones. And he says, I respect him as I respect every single one of my opponents, which I should. Being intimidated by him? No, I'm not intimidated by him, and I'm not intimidated by anybody. So Francis Ngannou, he moved away. People think, why is he going to leave the UFC? Well, he moved away from the UFC earlier this year. He relinquished his world title and severed ties with the UFC, all in pursuit of securing a high-stakes boxing match. Think about it again. Boxing pays a lot of money for the prize fighters, more than UFC. And I think when you look at Tyson Fury had his best fight against Wilder. But he got sent to the canvas both times. And that last fight, I know Fury was down more than a 10-second count. Now the fight's going to be in Saudi Arabia. Well, I'm asking for $6 billion. Give that some praise. Give me $6 billion. But think about that. They're going to fight not in Las Vegas. You would think a fight like this would be in Las Vegas. But the fight's going to be in Saudi Arabia. Closer to the African continent than Las Vegas, Nevada. So he gambled on himself, and I think he won already. I don't know the person in this fight, but I'm sure it's going to be huge, and I can't wait to see it. And everybody has their own thoughts about what makes a good fight, and can the UFC and the MMA stage more fights like this? Maybe they will. So my money goes first, that because Ngannou's a greater fighter than Fury, I think he's going to win this fight. And I think he's going to knock him out. Because Fury can't run from this guy. Deontay Wilder didn't chase Fury. And again, Fury has a puncher's chance. He's a big fighter, strong guy. He has a puncher's chance. But for me, I think Ngannou's a better overall fighter. And I think that's going to happen. And I'm going to give that some praise, if that makes sense to you. I'm going to take a moment to often say what I love saying about every show that I have, and especially speaking with Marcellus Brown yesterday, the father of Jaylen Brown for the Boston Celtics, and also speaking with Dwayne Wade Sr., the father of NBA future Hall of Famer Dwayne Wade, and just thinking about what these great men have done over the years, and then seeing Ngannou and Fury having the chance to get into the ring and fight a fight that a lot of people at one time thought could have never happened. How are you going to have two different styles in the octagon or in the ring? But they've managed to pull it off because money talks, and when you have enough money, they're going to find a way to make it happen. So I want to give both guys some praise. for putting together a fight that people really want to see. Because to me, it's one that I want to watch. You can't say that about every MMA fight or every boxing match. But this one here, I really want to see. I want to pay homage to my beautiful family legacy and on my mother's side. And this is so important because, I'm going to tell you, reparations now, reparations forever. Imagine President Abraham Lincoln, when he signed up on the Emancipation Proclamation for every free black man to get 40 acres and a mule for helping join the Union to defeat the Ku Klux Klan and the Southern Confederates in the Civil War. Without the help of black soldiers, the Union would have lost. They would have lost to the Southern Confederates. Lincoln knew that. President Lincoln knew that. So anyone that says we want to celebrate President's Day, if you're going to celebrate President's Day, how could you celebrate President's Day without paying homage to reparations? Reparations now, reparations forever. You gotta do that. And when I talk about my family legacy, they didn't get their reparations. My great-grandmother, Mama, beautiful, loving, kind woman, she didn't get her reparations. Always making sure lots of love in the family and lots of food in the belly. She did not get her reparations. My beautiful grandfather, Pop, called him a former military man. He didn't get reparations. And former Negro League baseball player, he did not get his reparations. But he could fix anything. The real MacGyver, planes, trains, and automobiles. And then my beautiful grandmother, called her a mud deer, beautiful, loving, kind woman. She didn't get her reparations. Industrious woman, always making sure that she was a seer. She could see things before they happen. She could look at a person, tell you a lot about their past, their present, and their future. One time I had gotten shot when I was a young boy, and she was already in heaven, but she told me, I heard it clear as day, she said, get away. And I listened because I did get away, but I didn't get all the way away, if that makes sense to you. So I know life is just energy. But she warned me then, and there's things that she's still with me to this day. I love her with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. She did not get her reparations. And then my beautiful grandfather, Hezekiah, another wonderful person, a seer, could look at a person, tell you a lot about their past, their present, and their future. They call them seers. Some people call them psychics. They can start talking about a person, and that person will show up at the house. They can see things and tell you where not to go. In fact, I'm telling you, it's just amazing. And then I can always depend on my mama, the most beautiful mama in the history of the universe. One time my mother told her brother-in-law not to hang out with some people because she had seen him in a car wreck. And some people think, oh, yeah, right. Well, about 2 days later, he was hanging out with those people, and he ended up being in a car wreck, like what she saw in a dream. How did she know that? My mother started a Head Start program, a food program, and also coached an all-boys Little League baseball team to the championship of the universe. In an all-men's league, they were always playing James Brown. This is a man's world. She say, hey, but it be nothing without a woman or a girl. Hey. At the church, everybody wanted Mrs. Curry's cooking. At a restaurant, everybody wanted Mrs. Curry's cooking. And at home, everybody wanted Mama's cooking. She said, son, how many plates have you had? I say, plates are baby crap. I'm on my way to get my reparations. You see, I thought that was funny. But sometimes she didn't think it was so funny. So sometimes I had to go to my room. But I learned to read. But my mom was the best person I ever met in my life. Always doing things to help other people. People are not that way this day. Now a lot of people try to rob you and take things from you. But always being of help to other people. The best person I ever met in my life. I love my mama, all my heart, mind, body, and soul. And then on my father's side, my grandfather, Albert Curry. You know, my mama, reparations. Always talk about reparations. And my beautiful grandfather, a pastor, had 2 churches in Oakland. He built the 3rd church in Central California with his own hands. He also owned 40 acres of land. And he had 2 gas stations in Oakland that he owned. One on Bancroft, the other on Foothill. They were Shell stations. But he did not get his reparations. He just didn't. And that's why it has to happen. And it's about good versus evil. Like, what side are you on? Hopefully the good side. But I remember, just like the Frederick Douglass was working with President Abraham Lincoln to craft the Emancipation Proclamation. Every free black man was supposed to get 40 acres of the mule for helping the Union win the Civil War. And unfortunately, when President Abraham Lincoln was assassinated, President Andrew Johnson came along and he vetoed the bill. And he gave the land back to the Ku Klux Klan and the Southern Confederates. That's not right. Even the Klan knew that was wrong. But he did what? And no president has had the decency since then to honor President Abraham Lincoln. Let's honor President Abraham Lincoln, and let's honor him now. Everyone knows the Emancipation Proclamation was an offer for black Americans. And it needs to happen. Because you can't look at someone and say you're a just country when you know you owe a debt to somebody. If you owe a debt to someone, people who helped build this country for free, Abraham Lincoln knew that. People go, oh, that's a long time ago, Curry. Well, you know what? Yellowstone Park was discovered a long time ago. Yosemite National Park, that was discovered a long time ago. People still go there. People used to use sail ships to go from sea to shining sea. And they were made of wood. That's a long time ago. Now they use metal. Just because something was done a long time ago doesn't mean you don't owe up. If you have your receipt, and black Americans have the receipt. I'm going to talk about that more. And then really do appreciate my grandfather. Then my beautiful grandmother, Alberta Curry, working side by side with my granddaddy with the 2 churches in Oakland and building the 3rd church of Central California. And then helping my granddaddy with everything that they needed to do together. And I remember she touched me on my forehead. I was about 8 years old walking through a hallway in Oakland. She said, there's something about your voice. I love hearing you speak. It's no wonder that Big C Sports is the only sports podcaster in the universe on 27 podcast applications. I didn't create that by myself. That's by God. God did that. I didn't send out a resume. All I do is keep doing my things. Opportunities come, opportunities go. But I know I do one thing, and I'm pretty good at it. I just keep praising God. I just keep giving God the praise. Give God the praise! I learned that when I was a young boy. And I am seriously looking for $6 billion, and it's going to happen. It doesn't matter what people think. I'm talking to God about it anyway. Oh, there you go, pie in the sky. Well, I'm telling you, it wouldn't be the first time somebody was worth $6 billion. I want to spread Big C Sports all around the world. Because it's not about shucking and jiving. Just like the 2 men on the show yesterday. It was Dwayne Wade Sr., Dwayne Wade's father, and Marcellus Brown, Jaylen Brown's dad. And they said, man, I love your show. If you ever want me on, just give me a call. And I want to give them praise because they understood this guy's different. I wasn't arguing with them about who's bigger, stronger, and faster. I just challenged them to who could beat each other in a boxing match. And both guys said that they would win. Of course, when Marcellus is 7 feet tall, you got to punch him in the knees. When you hit a man in the knees enough times, it's going to hurt. But you got to get past that reach that he has. And again, but it was it was edifying to me to talk to 2 beautiful and intelligent black men, 9 series DNA. Oftentimes, mainstream will only talk to the children about how their careers are going. But Big C Sports paid homage to the fathers. Give that some praise. Because so many times you don't hear where people come from. You hear touchdown, home run, 3-point play. Oh, man, Willie, he's going all the way. We hear that a lot. But Luther Vandross sang a song called Dance With My Father. It's one of the few songs that brings tears to my eyes. It's about dancing with your father while he's still here. Oftentimes people wait until someone passes on, they say how much they love somebody, or how much they miss somebody, or how much they wish they would have spent more time with somebody. And that's why you should dance with your father while he's here. And anybody preventing you from doing that, look him in the eye and ask them why. Only a wicked person would prevent that. Are you wicked? Don't be wicked. Sometimes mothers and fathers don't get along, but what kind of person would divide the children from their seed? That's like cutting down a redwood tree. Would you get a fine for that? Going to Yosemite cutting down redwood trees without a permit? You would get a fine. They might even throw your butt in jail. But there's so many people, because they don't get along, they want to sever the ties between their children. Only the devil would do that. There's no way God says, hey, go to your children and divide them between both parents. There was a story in the Bible about two ladies that had a child. One child deceased, so the lady that had the deceased child, she tried to steal the child that was alive. And they were pulling on the child and saying, I'm going to take the baby, I'm going to take the baby. They were fighting over the baby. And the story went that the baby was going to be divided, cut in half. And they could both have half the baby. And the real mother said, no, don't do that. She can have them. Because if you're a real parent, how do you have the decency to try to divide your children from their seed? People do it all the time. It's not of God. You got to give God some praise. No way God says divide yourselves. But that's my story. I'm sticking with it. And then my beautiful father, former United States Air Force fighter pilot, chief mechanic, always making sure that airplanes could fly high so we could all stay safe at night. In fact, my father, I just had another epiphany. In the Air Force, his roommate was the late Al Freeman Jr., who played the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in one of my favorite movies, Malcolm X, that was written and produced by the great Spike Lee, and acted by my favorite actor, the great Denzel Washington. My father did not get his reparations. He did not even get the GI Bill after serving this country in the Air Force. It only went to white men. Even if you're a white man, you know that's crooked. And you should atone for it. You don't atone by issuing an apology. You issue reparations. It's going to take an act of executive order. You know, everybody comes around to the black community when it's time to vote. They want the black vote. They want the black vote. They love you. We love you so much. We shall overcome. Even Dr. Martin Luther King said, if you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. There are times in life where people will help you. And I'm asking the good people of this country, whether you're president of the United States and Joe Biden, who got in office because black people voted for him. It wasn't white people that put him in office. It was the majority of the black vote as a monolithic group that put President Biden in office. And he understands when President Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation. Oh, there you go again, Curry. You always want to talk about the past. All of us are here because of the past. All of us are here because our parents listened to Teddy Pendergrass when he said, turn off the lights and light a candle. And when the others popped in, listen, Teddy said, turn them off. That happened in the past. 9 months later, a baby was born. And now he is screaming on Big C Sports Podcast. Give that some praise. Teddy Pendergrass was always playing in my house. I understand when my mama had 7 kids. The power of Teddy. At the same time, I just love saying that. My beautiful brother Todd with that bombastic, love my dad with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. My beautiful brother Todd with that bombastic voice, sound like thunder and lightning when Todd would speak. A voracious reader, always saying go forward. And I love paying homage to my beautiful daughter. Love Todd with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. I love paying homage to my beautiful daughter Daisy, the most beautiful daughter in the history of the universe. Daisy set up the very first interview for Big C Sports back at Salem Media. It was with the football player. We went on from there to become the first time in the history of the United States that NFL Monday Night Football started airing live on the Wall Street Business Network. It had never been done before. I still got the letter from station manager because of Big C and the crew. I didn't put that letter together. Normally they would go to ESPN. But shenanigans happened, and they said if 2 N-words can do it, we can bring in some shenanigans. And they did. It went away. I'm still growing. They're having layoffs. All I do is give God praise. All God has to do is say yes to what I'm asking for. And there's $6 billion. And employing more and more people around the world. You got to give that some praise. I'm not shucking and jiving. I love Daisy with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. She would also help me set up in college coaches would come to the West Coast and do work for Big C Sports. You can be anything you want to be. As I always tell you, Isaiah 54:17, always trust God. No weapon formed against you will prosper. I love you with everything that I have. And then my beautiful, handsome son, Malcolm, the most handsome son in the history of the universe. College student, very smart, erudite, a good man. As I always tell you, always trust God. Isaiah 54:17, no weapon formed against you will prosper. Malcolm actually, he helped me save trees. I used to always get newspapers to try to look up stats for Big C Sports. One day Malcolm said, Dad, why don't you just Google it? And the light bulb went off. I've been Googling ever since. and now I've Googled my way to 27 podcast applications and 4 TV platforms. Malcolm had me do that. One day Malcolm said, Dad, do you want to see Big C Sports on TV? I said, sure. Listen up, people. He said, pick up the remote, aim it at the TV, and say, play Big C Sports. And you'll see your show come up. That's before it was even on the air. And shortly after that, on Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, and Amazon Fire TV, my son spoke it into existence. That's why I say Big C Sports Podcast is the #1 sports show in the universe. I want to connect fathers to their sons. I want to connect mothers to their daughters. Why be estranged? Dance with your father while you can. Dance with your mother while you can. But it would take an evil person to try to divide your seed. Don't divide seeds. That's my opinion. I'm sticking with it. There's so much goodness in people when we put our thoughts together, and don't try to hoodwink people. All of us at some point in time are like the person trying to cross the street. You may just need somebody to hold your hand. If you want to be clandestine and full of crap, then you'll meet someone who's clandestine and full of crap. If you want the smooth road, drive on the smooth road. There's a road that has a bumpy road also. If you like bumpy roads and bumpy friendships and bumpy relationships, they're there for you too. Like attracts like. And that's what I love about Big C Sports. When I could have 2 men yesterday. I didn't call them, they called me. And they talked about their children. Professional NBA basketball players. Dwayne Wade's retired. Jaylen Brown's still doing his thing. But their fathers on the program yesterday, they talked about how much love they have for their children. And I was proud to hear that because mainstream media, they rarely really celebrate black love. Now let somebody do something wrong, it'll be all over the news. But black love is hardly celebrated. And there are sometimes fathers, they don't do anything for their children. Nothing at all. And there are sometimes children don't show respect to their fathers because something got in the way. It's not of God. Dance with your fathers and your mothers while you can and get out some praise. They won't always be here. I want to get into what I want to talk about today, as I always do. Just like thinking, Malcolm, you can be anything you want to be. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. You can be anything. Give being anything some praise. We all gotta have that faith in God. Don't worry about people. Give your love and praise to God. And let God bring you what you need. I want to say what I talk about for today on the show is Big C's Major League Baseball Power Rankings. I love doing it my way. What did 2 Live Crew say? I did it my way. I did it my way. But it's my thoughts. And I'm going to do it my way because it's my way or not my way. I think that's what it was a song. I did it my way. I think about Big C's Major League Baseball Power Rankings. I left my heart in San Francisco. Number 10. In Big C's Major League Baseball Power Rankings, I have runners on first and third. The count's full, the pitch, curveball, swung on, hit deep, right field, back to the wall, home run. Say hello to my little friends. I love saying the girls love the long ball and men love to hit deep. If that makes sense to you, the Giants, the Gigantes, they had an interesting week. They swept the Diamondbacks and then dropping both games of a 2-game set to the Major League Baseball's worst, should I call them the Oakland A's or the Las Vegas A's? They're still in Oakland, so there's still a chance. But one thing that has impressed me about the Giants team is his ability to win games against quality teams. In San Francisco, I'm telling you, they are 34-27 against teams with records above 500. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Number 9, and now, fighting out of the great Pacific Northwest, the Seattle Mariners. I'm telling you, they're number 9 in Big C's Major League Baseball Power Rankings. All season long, we've been waiting for the team that many of us expected to be the greatest challenger to the Houston Astros in the West, and they turn a corner and heat things up. That's why they played the All-Star game. But that time has come. My time has come. Now, the Mariners have won 10 of their last 12 games, with each victory coming against a playoff hopeful. That's the Twins, the Diamondbacks, the Red Sox, and the Angels. What does that mean? I want to give them some praise. Runners on first and third. The counts for the pitch. Curveball, swung on, hit deep, center field, back to the wall, home run. Say hello to my little friends. We love saying the girls love the long ball. And men do love to hit deep because we don't want to bunt. Why do men want to always hit deep as opposed to bunting? Well, maybe it's human nature, the great Michael Jackson told us. And now, fighting! Speaking of fighting, the city of brotherly love, number 8 in Big C's Major League Baseball power rankings. I have the Philadelphia Phillies. Shine on me, cause I love you. Shine a light to the eyes of the world left behind. You can't sing. You can't sing. Quit singing. Well, that's my best rendition of singing. But the Phillies are now 10 games over 500. They're 36-19 since June 2nd. I know they were runner-up last year in the World Series to the Houston Astros, but they're a team that's still swinging the bat, and they have a swinger's chance. Even though they sometimes will boo Santa Claus, if that makes sense to you. And now, fighting out of Canada. Oh, Canada, our home and native land. Runners on first and third. The counts for the pitch. Curveball, swung on, hit deep, left field, back to the wall, home run. Say hello to my little Riz. I love saying the girls love the long ball and men love to hit deep. The Blue Jays made a small move up in the rankings, primarily because the teams in front of them, they played poorly since the last power rankings were released. All's fair in love and war. Toronto, they can swing the bat up there at the beautiful Rogers Center. I have a feeling that they're going to make some noise in the playoffs this year as well, if that makes sense to you. And now we're going to head back down to Texas, where they get buck wild. In Texas, the defending World Series champion, Houston Astros, Dusty Baker's finest runners on first and third. The count's full. The pitch, curveball, swung on, hit deep, left field, back to the wall, home run. Say hello to my little friends. What they say, to the window, to the wall. I won't say the rest of that song. I know when the sweats come down. If that makes sense to you. I got them number 6, even with the Rangers leading the division by 2.5 games with just 2. Think about it. Under 2 months to play in the regular season. I still favor the Astros to win the American League West for the 6th time in 7 years. In-state rivals have 1 series remaining in Texas, and that's the first week in September, if that makes sense to you. And again, Dusty Baker's doing his thing. The last 2 World Series, he's been manager of those games. Now, when I come out to the West Coast, I'm going to tell you, there's something about the Pacific Ocean and Dim Deer Hills, California. I got number 5 in Big C's Major League Baseball power rankings. Runners on first and third. The count's full. The pitch, curveball, slung on, hit deep, center field, back to the wall, home run. Say hello to my little friends. I love in L.A. The girls love the long ball, and men love to hit deep in Los Angeles, and that makes sense to you. I like the Dodgers. I like them a lot. They won 10 of their last 11. I'm telling you, the division championship. At this point, I see the Dodgers as really the only formidable challenger to the Braves in the National League. And with the additions of veterans like Kiki Hernandez and Ahmad Rosario, Lance Lynn, and Joe Kelly and Ryan Yarbrough will be enough to help the Dodgers regain the throne in the National League. And I think they will. This is the team. They're always there. They have great pitching. They can swing the bat. And Chavez Ravine is a great place for the Dodgers to play. Gives them kind of that home field pitching. Number 4 in Big C's Major League Baseball power rankings. The stars shine bright, and it's deep in the night, deep in the heart of Texas. Quit singing, Curry. I got the Texas Rangers, J.R. Ewing territory. I got the number 4 in Big C's Major League Baseball power rankings. The Rangers are legit, and they're pushing all their chips to the center of the table. And the club added the great Max Scherzer and Jordan Montgomery, as well as Chris Stratton before the deadline, while parting ways with top outfielder, and I tell him Mr. Acuna's gone. But this team, the Rangers have not lost since going a perfect 6-0 while sweeping the White Sox and the Marlins. You got to know this team was in the abyss just a few years ago in their brand new stadium, but that's how things goes. What did great Janet Jackson say? She said that's the way love goes. Number 3 in Big C's Major League Baseball power rankings. Something about the retirement community of Tampa. They have the Lightning, they have the Buccaneers, and now they have the Rays. It's an oxymoron. They're the Tampa Bay Rays, but they play in a dome, if that makes sense to you. But I got them runners on first and third. That counts for the pitch. Curveball, swung on, hit deep. Center field, back to the wall. Home run. Say hello to my little friends. Love seeing the girls of the long ball. And men love to hit deep in Tampa, even though you can't see it because they play in a dome. But I think about the power rankings. The Rays have corrected course, winning 3 straight series, all on the road over the Astros, the Yankees, and the Tigers. Starting pitching is going to be a serious concern moving forward with the great Shane Baez, Andrew Russell, as well as Jeffrey Springs all sidelined for the remainder of the season. And that's when you got to wonder if that will bite them in the backside, if that makes sense to you. Even if it does, they're in a dome, so you can't really see it because they're in a dome. I got number 2 in Big C's Major League Baseball power rankings. Runners on first and third. That counts for the pitch. Fastball, swung on, hit deep, center field, back to the wall, home run. Say hello to my little friends. I love saying the girls love the long ball and men love to hit deep. The Orioles remain, I'm telling you, challenging for number 1 in Big C's power rankings for the second straight week. They are 5-1 in the month of August, with their lone loss coming at the hands of the Blue Jays. And oh, Canada! I'm telling you, they're a team. It's been a long time since they've had a chance to cheer loud in Baltimore. So now they're getting buck wild in Baltimore. If that makes sense to you. And now, number 1 in Big C's Major League Baseball power rankings. What that good old girl saying? Heading on that midnight train to Georgia. Down in Stone Mountain, Georgia. Runners on first and third. The pitch, curveball, swung on, hit deep. Left field, back to the wall. And then Magic City's dancing at night. Home run. Say hello to my little friends. I like when they said the girls love the long ball, men love to hit deep. When I was down at Magic City, I was looking for Mickey Mouse. But I said Magic City's changed. They had barely enough stuff on us to not lose your mind. If that makes sense to you. Well, people do what they got to do to get down, if that makes sense to you. But the Braves, they remain the class of the National League, despite dropping a road series to the Cubs. The Cubs win! The Cubs win! Over the weekend, the Cubs ace Max Fried is also back. Now, Friday, Fried made his first start since May 5th, allowing 3 hits, no walks, and no runs, and over 6 innings, striking out 8. I like what they're doing in Atlanta. Those good old boys can play. They have the pitching. They have the hitting. And I know some people might say, well, the Dodgers should be the first place team, or some people say the Orioles, but it's just my thoughts, and I'm going to stick with my thoughts because that's what Big C does, and that's Big C's thoughts for the Major League Baseball power rankings. Give that some praise. I say give it praise, praise, praise. I love bringing it to you, Big C style. And I'm telling you, there's so many great things in life to be grateful for. I really do appreciate. I want to pay homage to our reparations because everybody should. And I'm talking to Congress, and I'm talking to everybody that believes in fairness and equality, especially if you have your receipt. If you have your receipt and you think about reparations, think about the story in the Bible where the talents were given up by the master. One was given 5 talents, the other was given 2 talents, and the other was given 1 talent. And you gotta be aware of the talents that you have. Are you really using the talents that you have? And when you think about that, the California Reparations Task Force, they've issued an 1,100-page report to provide recommendations to lawmakers for reparations. I'm going to close the show paying homage to them. And everyone, please, this is a test. Google it. California Reparations Task Force. The last meeting was June 29, 2023. It was at the Secretary of State building in California. I want to pay homage to Camilla Moore, the chair. Brilliant. In fact, I'm going to give him some praise. Camilla Moore, the chairwoman. Brilliant. Dr. Amos C. Brown, vice chair. Brilliant. The best senator in the United States, California Senator Stephen Bradford. Brilliant. You got to give these guys some praise. Council member Monica Montgomery Steppe, brilliant. Assembly member Reginald Jones Sawyer, brilliant. Dr. Shell Grillis, brilliant. Attorney Lisa Holder, brilliant. Dr. Devon Scott Lewis, professor at Berkeley, brilliant. And Donald K. Tamaki, brilliant. They were mandated by California Governor Gavin Newsom to come up with plans for reparations for descendants of chattel slavery. I want to give that some praise. It's going to happen first in California. And then all good people of the world, they're going to join hands in saying, we shall overcome. We have our receipt. Reparations now. Reparations forever. And all good people are going to do that. Not everybody's good. Because not everybody's good. So you won't please everybody. But we're going to try to do what President Abraham Lincoln asked us to do. But that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Well, if you're going to drink, don't drive. If you're going to drive, don't drink. Mothers against drunk drivers are mad. Fathers against drunk drivers are mad. You can call Uber. You can call Lyft. Call a cab. Walk it off. Sleep it off. The life you save may be your own. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. As I always say, back in the day, there's a man known by the name of Drew Boudini Brown. He was known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, you float like a butterfly, you sting like a bee, rumble, young man, rumble. He said, with all you got to use, how can you lose? Ali said, so I'm pretty, I can't possibly be beat because all the Big C burgers make me light on my feet. That's why I float like a butterfly and I sting like a bee. My beautiful mother always says, there's never ever an excuse for racism or domestic violence. No man, woman, or child should ever have to go through that garbage on their own. And that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. When you call 911, things change when the police show up. No one should ever have to go through that garbage. Well, that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. As I always tell you, on every Big C Sports Show, I thank you, I appreciate you, and I hope that you have a super, fantastic day. Let's honor President Abraham Lincoln. Everybody say it together. Reparations now, reparations forever. Say it with me one more time, Congress. Reparations now, reparations forever. Say it like your team just won the game. Reparations now, reparations forever. I thank you. I appreciate you. I hope you have a super fantastic day.